Welcome to FX Options University, recorded live at the International Securities Exchange, the world's largest equity options exchange. Join the industry's top trading professionals as they provide insight and strategies for trading in the currency markets using FX options. FX options are a low-risk alternative to hedging currency moves in any market condition.
Welcome everyone, this is Steve Meisinger, your host for today's ISE webinar. Today I'm pleased that we have John Person with us. John has been with us many times, always very, very interesting, and John's going to be talking about spotting high probability trading opportunities for FX options. Without further ado, I want to introduce John Person. John, thanks for joining us today at the ISE.
Well, thanks for having me, Steve, and welcome everybody. First off, I'm sure everyone, if you are trading, you know that we've gone through quite a, I'd have to say as a professional trader in the markets every single day, it pretty, for the most part, it's been fairly choppy in the last, say, 4 or 5 weeks. Some of the market tendencies, we've had some trending market conditions. There's a lot of uncertainty, and I think that's what's bringing the choppiness in the markets. And when I say choppiness, I'm not just talking currencies, I'm talking interest rates, the whole thing around the globe. Who's leading who? The U.S. versus China. How are the global economies doing? When we look at currencies, we look at not just the U.S. dollar paired against the euro currency. Steve kind of alluded to some of the ISE's newer product, which is based in foreign currency, such as we'll get to in just a second, such as the euro currency, for example, against the U.S. dollar. But when you look at some of the commodity-based currencies like the Aussie dollar against the U.S., or you look at the Canadian, interest rates, it's funny because money makes the world go round, and interest rates dictate the direction of what's going on as far as commodities based in U.S. dollars. And what I mean is that, for example, when the dollar goes down, we see foreign entities, it's cheaper to buy gold and crude oil. And so when we saw higher prices in gold and crude oil, we saw Aussie and Canadian, those commodity-based currencies, swell higher against the U.S. dollar. So it really does help to get kind of a macro sense of what's going on for longer-term traders. And for options traders specifically, whether you're an option writer or you're a directional trader, looking to gain leverage by, using long options, and I'll show you what I mean. Using some technical analysis combined with fundamental analysis can be helpful. One other thing that can be helpful, it doesn't work 100% all the time, is seasonality. And there is some seasonality to the markets. Now, we just had a seasonality play, and I'm not afraid to mention with the British pound about 2 weeks ago, which should have bottomed against the U.S. dollar and moved higher. And if you follow the pound, you know that it absolutely did not happen. It took out the August lows, the 1st of September lows, and it just barreled right on through. Now, typically with the British pound, we see the market rally going into November this time of year, and we just haven't seen that right now because of possibly bigger than anyone can anticipate situations such as the British government has been talking down their value of their currency to make it better for their economy. So there's a lot of crosswinds that are happening in the marketplace right now, and because of that, I think it's really good that investors can utilize options and therefore minimize risk while being able to participate in market moves. Not every trade that I do is a winner, believe me. However, what's really key, folks, and you've probably, if you don't know this, you got to learn this. It's getting more consecutive winners over time. That's the real key. Managing your risk. If you take a trade and you get married to the risk, it is something that is just going to be devastating to come back, not just from a financial aspect, but also from an emotional aspect. So you take your licks and you move on. You look for the next best high probability trade. And that's what we're here to talk about today, high probability setups. Just to let you know, this presentation is educational in content. This is a disclaimer here. This is not a recommendation or solicitation to buy or sell securities, and that trading involves risk of loss. Please consult a professional over your financial situation on risk capital and what it should be, and that's appropriate to your overall financial situation. That's more or less what this said. Also, this is a copywritten information. It's illegal and not authorized to produce, distribute, and resell this information without author's consent, and I'm author. Thank you. Next, about ISE FX options, now that we got that all out of the way. The ISE is really a phenomenal exchange which offers, whether you trade a lot of securities, options. They really do a huge amount of volume, and they introduced options for equity traders on foreign currencies, which are fabulous products. So I heard Steve mention earlier today, prior to our start, how can someone find these products? And again, it has to be an equities, a stock brokerage account, not a commodity brokerage account. So if you're a spot Forex trader, you can get these products through opening up a stock account. If you're trading futures, you need a stock account. A stock options account will work, and there's numerous companies out there that provide this information. Some of the chart examples that I may show you today is from a company called Thinkorswim, which was acquired by TD Ameritrade, and I'll show you some of the stuff from my trading account on today's presentation. Some of these products, not only are they exchange-listed securities, they're cash-settled U.S. dollars, European-style exercise, and you can trade them as spreads. With most of these products, you now, as they've started to evolve into expanding the way you and I look at these or interpret this information, the ISE has just added the Australian dollar, AUM, the British pound, GBP, the euro currency, EUU, and the New Zealand dollar, NDO, in currency-based, not U.S. dollar-based, as I will show you, which is what I've been used to trading with the ISE's products.
Thank you for participating in this week's session. Please join us again next week. Get trading ideas, exchange rates, webinars, news, and commentary. Visit www.fxoptions.com. ISE FX options can be easily traded through all options-enabled brokerage accounts. These exchange-listed securities are cash-settled in U.S. dollars and have a European-style exercise.